Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome all of you to Chemistry Lab. Today, inshallah, experiment number 3, reaction of metals with a strong acid and strong base. The purpose of this experiment to introduce you how can you observe the reactivity of metals. As you know, the reactivity of metals can be investigated by observing chemical reaction of metals with a strong acid and strong base. Now, the reactive metal such as aluminum, magnesium, zinc can be react with a strong acid like HCl and also can be react with a strong base like NaOH to produce H2 gas. Experimentally, you can observe the H2 gas as bubbles. You can observe again the H2 gas experimentally as bubbles. And also it should be known the most reactive metal experimentally has faster rate of gas bubbling. Now, the unreactive metal such as copper, gold, platinum cannot react with the strong acid and also cannot react with the strong base. So the conclusion, reactive metal can be react with acid and base to produce H2 gas. Experimentally, you can observe the H2 gas as bubbles. The unreactive metal cannot react with acid and also cannot react with base. So now let's go to know how can you observe the reactivity of metals experimentally. Now, materials and equipment. Test tube, glass test tube, and this is the rack for test tube. Spatula, acid, strong acid, which is HCl solution. The concentration of this HCl is 1 molar. Strong base, NaOH solution. The concentration also of NaOH is 1 molar. And empty beaker for the waste. 4 metals, magnesium powder, and aluminum, zinc, and the last one is copper. So I have 4 metals. So inshallah I will observe the reactivity of 4 metals with strong acid and strong base. The procedure, I will react each metal with strong acid and strong base to observe the reactivity. Again, the reactive metal can be react with the strong acid and also strong base to produce H2 gas. And inshallah in this experiment you will monitor the rate of gas bubbling, fast bubbling, slow bubbling, or no bubbles. The unreactive metal cannot react with acid and cannot react with base, so you cannot observe any bubbles. I will start now. Magnesium metal, I will react the magnesium metal with the strong acid and the strong base. So 1 test tube for the acid, add small amount of metal, use the spatula, small amount of metal. I have here the metal. use the spatula, small amount in the test tube. Then add the acid. You have dropper for the acid. Add also approximate volume 1 to 2 ml, 1 to 2 ml, and observe the result. I will add 1 to 2 ml. You can see very fast rate of gas bubbling, very fast of bubbling. This is the H2 bubbles, very fast bubbling. And also you will observe heat. Okay, write your observation in your sheet. Very fast bubbling. You can see very fast bubbling. So write your observation in your sheet. So magnesium with HCl, you observe fast bubbling. Discard the waste into empty beaker. So now reaction of metal with base. Also small amount of metal, small amount of metal, and add NaOH, sodium hydroxide, 1 to 2 ml approximate volume. You can see slow bubbling. In the bubbles, but slow bubbling. This is slow bubbling. Okay? Discard the waste. So magnesium react with acid and also react with base to produce H2 gas. So magnesium is reactive metal. So metal number 2. Metal number 2, aluminum. Aluminum. Clean the spatula, because we don't need any contamination. We don't need any contamination. So in one test tube for the acid, this is for the acid, add small amount of metal, small amount of metal, and approximate volume 1 to 2 ml acid. You can see this is the metal and this is the acid. 1 to 2 ml acid, approximate volume. You can observe slow bubbling. There is bubbling, bubbles. Discard the waste. And now metal with base. Small amount of metal, and add approximate volume 1 to 2 ml NaOH. This is the metal and this is the NaOH. You can see fast bubbling, fast rate of gas bubbling, very fast, and also heat. You can observe here very fast of gas bubbling. So NaOH with aluminum, very fast of rate bubbling. You can see bubbles very fast, and also heat. This is exothermic reaction. Discard the waste. and record the observation in your sheet. So now aluminum react with acid and also react with base to produce H2 gas. So aluminum is reactive metal. So now zinc, the third metal, clean the spatula, use the tissue to clean the spatula. No need any contamination between the metals. One test tube for the acid. You can see this is the zinc, small piece of zinc, solid. You can see this magnesium is solid, and small amount of HCl, approximate volume 1 to 2 mil. 1 to 2 mil. Use the dropper to add the 1 to 2 mil. Focus to the metal. You can observe very slow bubbling, slow bubbles. To the metal, to the metal. To the metal, you can see bubbles, slow bubbling, slow bubbling. To the metal, okay? Okay, discard the waste. So now, in paste, small amount of, you can touch the zinc, it's okay. Magnesium, zinc, and any watch, small amount of any watch, approximate volume 1 to 2 mil. To the metal, look to the metal, you can observe very slow bubbles, very slow, very slow, very slow bubbling. You can see very slow bubbling. So the zinc also can react with acid and base to produce H2 gas. Write your observation in your sheet. Slow bubbling in HCl and also slow bubbling in NaOH. So now the last metal is copper. The last metal is copper. In one test tube, add small amount of metal and 1 to 2 mil HCl. You can see here, this is the copper and this is the HCl. You can see no bubbles, no bubbles, no bubbles. So copper cannot react with HCl. Discard the waste. So now small amount of metal So now the base 1 to 2 mil, any which you can see here, and this is the 1 to 2 mil approximate volume. So you can see also no bubbles, no bubbles, no any reaction between the any wedge and the cover. Discard the waste and write your observation in your sheet. So you can see magnesium, aluminum, zinc, reactive metals. Why? Because each metal react with HCl and also with any wedge to produce H2 gas. Okay, thank you guys. In your sheet should be write your observations. So the first metal is Zn, zinc. In HCl you observe slow bubbling, and in any wedge also you observe slow bubbles. So this metal is reactive. The type of this metal is reactive metal. Aluminum in HCl slow bubbles also, the rate of gas bubbling is slow, and in any wedge fast bubbling, and this metal is reactive. Copper in HCl no reaction, no bubbles, and also in any wedge no bubbles. So this metal and reactive metal. The last metal is magnesium. In HCl you observe fast bubbling and also heat, and in any wedge you observe bubbles but slow. So this metal is reactive metal. Okay guys, so Zn, aluminum Al, and magnesium Mg reactive metals, and copper and reactive metal.